Off, could you tell me your name?
Yeah, it's Kyle Herring, Kyle-Herring.
Awesome. I love it when I love it when my interviews give me the spelling just right off. So as you guys can see behind you, it says Commercial Crew. So can you tell me a little bit about that program and what it means to develop and man-rate a spacecraft?
Well, human rating a spacecraft is a big deal. I mean, you're usually talking about a 7-year process. Obviously, we used the Space Shuttle, which was an all-government-owned vehicle to get us to and from the International Space Station. It helped us build the space station. And so what the Commercial Crew Program is the follow-on to the Space Shuttle. It's allowing us to help companies certify human-rated launch vehicles that we will then buy seats on to and from the space station. As right now, obviously, we're relying totally on the Russians for our human transport, crew transport to the space station and back. We obviously want to wean ourselves off of that to a point where we are launching from U.S. launch sites. For these two companies that we are down to, Boeing and SpaceX right now, they are in the process of developing the hardware, certifying the hardware. They will be doing all the types of testing to make sure that they are flight worthy before we actually put a crew on board and launch in the next 2.5 years.
So could you tell me a little bit about the types of specific requirements, like 1 or 2 specific requirements of a crew vehicle versus an uncrewed vehicle? Like, well, what is the difference?
It's a huge deal to human rate a vehicle. You talk about a cargo vehicle, you can launch a cargo vehicle pressurized, unpressurized. It does not have to have life support. It can obviously have a little bit less redundancy. You turn a vehicle into a human-rated vehicle, then you're talking about having a very detailed, elaborate life support system that can sustain a crew, obviously, through every flight regime, live at the space station, dock to the station for up to 6 months at a time, plug into the station. That life support system is one of the critical components, and obviously the safe return of that crew is another critical component, not only of the whole mission phase. So it's much different than cargo. And then you got to talk about the launch vehicle to get you there.
That's all got to be man-rated too.
Absolutely.
So everything has to have that same redundancy.
Right. The two companies that we're working with right now, SpaceX is all integrated. They develop their own engines, rocket body, crew capsule, the whole vehicle. Boeing is partnered with United Launch Alliance to develop the Atlas V, which is a proven vehicle already used right now regularly. Boeing is working with them on an integrated approach for the Boeing CST-100 spacecraft to sit atop that Atlas V.
If I remember correctly, the Atlas V was used to launch the MMS mission that happened on Friday.
Exactly. So
we're still using that thing, and it's just gone all through different incarnations since John Glenn wrote on it.
They have an exceptional launch record with the Atlas V. So the process of human rating that is a little bit more involved, obviously, because you would probably add a little bit more redundancy to the vehicle. You have launch aborts scenarios with a crew capsule atop that has its own launch abort system. So all of that has to be integrated and work together. And so those are the types of things that those companies are working together on an integrated approach to this process.
And so what was the rationale from, you saying the shuttle was fully government, going from fully government to kind of the government paying for, FedEx and Yellow Cab to take you to space? What was the rationale behind that?
Well, that's exactly it, right? The shuttle was fully government-owned, government-operated, taxpayer paid for. What we want to do is we want to only spend the money, the taxpayer money, responsibly by saying, let's treat this like an airline. We don't want to buy the whole vehicle. We want to buy the service. So that means if I need 3 seats or I need 4 seats, however many I need, I will only be paying for those seats. I won't be paying for the entire launch. So the companies are sharing the cost. Once the vehicle is certified and is flying, we will only buy the service, just like we do right now with the Russians. We buy a seat on that vehicle, and that's what we will do with these companies. That's the biggest thing. That's what NASA's goal is. Certifying the vehicle is the biggest thing for us. So obviously, we want to make sure that the vehicle is safe to fly. And that helps the companies because now they can say NASA certified this, but it's also going to foster, hopefully, a commercial industry that the airline industry developed into over the course of, the last 100 years.
And so how will Commercial Crew, which is low Earth orbit, complement the Orion, which is going to be beyond low Earth orbit?
Well, they're different paths. What Commercial Crew will do is focus on, just what you said, low Earth orbit, travel to and from the International Space Station, and eventually a low Earth orbit commercial industry. Orion, that gives Orion and frees that program up for us to concentrate as NASA on deep space missions that we've never been able to do before with crews.
So it kind of deals with allowing NASA to have its resources geared towards pushing the frontier, whereas the Commercial Crew is going to be doing what is known, which is low Earth orbit, which hopefully will also reduce costs.
Right. I mean, that's what NASA's all about, is advancing the boundaries of technology. And Orion's helping us do that, and you'll see the Space Launch System is the giant rocket that we just tested one of the boosters for that future program that will take Orion into deeper space, while this program will help concentrate on low Earth orbit, space station, and fostering that commercial industry.
All right, thank you so much.